Thank you, Chairman. I have to give you also an input from the session and the experiences. Experiences about what? About real estate markets, and we need guidelines for housing finance. What are we expecting? We are expecting medium and long-term economic and social benefit from the housing market. So what is necessary? The first presentation in my session was about statistics. And what we need more is a solid database. And this means that the database we have right now must be improved, because the database from country to country is not always comparable. We have a lack of information, and the definitions behind the figures are different. So when you have one figure in one country, it's not necessary that this figure is comparable with the same figure in another country, because the definition behind it's different. So that's the first thing. What we need else is a functioning real estate market, and sometimes we say housing finance market. So the first question is there a difference between real estate market and housing finance market? Maybe we have to clarify this. I think the housing finance market or the real estate market are divided in two segments. We have on one side the retail market, on the other side we have the owner-occupied housing market. First, to the retail market. According to Principle 9, the social housing is a part of the retail market, and it's also a part of the real estate market. And the social housing market, I think, is very important, and as we have heard, at least 20% of the population in each country cannot afford their own housing. So they are not able to pay their rent, and they are not able to pay their own house. And why they are not able? So we find out that the income is decreasing and the expenditures are decreasing and the expenditures are increasing. That's their main problem. But also social housing is of public interest because it stabilizes the societies and the economy. Nevertheless, is the question, and that's Principle 6, should have these households access to credit and mortgages as well as to microfinance. And I think when I look to the United States and their experience, they had the opinion that also these households should have access, because the government are supporting them with institutions like Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. But the question is really, we haven't discussed this, but the question is this the right way to support every household that he become a homeowner? In my opinion, I would say no, that's not the task of a government to support everyone, because we have at least 20% of the population which are not able to care for their rent, and they are even more not able to care for their repayments for their house. So the government must support these people with housing allowances and other subsidies in this field, but I think they should have no access to the home ownership area. In the field of rental housing, we have also a free market, and I think the free market is not a problem here, because the free rental market, these are people who can decide whether they want to live in their own house or they live on a rental basis. Most these are people, they are very mobile, they're changing the jobs a lot, and so they move from one place to the other. And that's not a problem in the United States. It's easy to get a new house in the United States when you move from one place to the other. But in Europe, it's much more difficult to find an appropriate house or apartment in another country or another city. And so I think these people are out of the social area. They are more or less, they have enough money to care for themselves. And then we have the market of the owner-occupied housing. In this market also we have people that can afford nearly every house because their income is above average, and so that's not the problem from the government, that's not the problem for the society. But some of these people, they need help. They have more money than is necessary to be on a rental basis, but they have not enough money to finance their own house. So some help is needed, and these are especially for middle and upper lower income classes. But what need these people? Especially, they need transparency. They need transparency of the financial products. They must understand this product, because only when they can understand the product, they feel a kind of responsibility for their financial obligations. So the question is, should financial products be redefined? And I think there are a lot of financial products on the market, not only in Europe. They should be redefined. So the question is, which financial technique fits to this group of persons best? I think what we need, and we have heard this in one of the reports, we need down payment, we need savings, we don't need 100 and 120% finance, and we need, first of all, a primary market. There's always a misunderstanding that some people are against the secondary market. I think the secondary market makes only sense when you have a functioning primary market. I think that's essential, and there's a lot of misunderstanding around the world when people say you need a secondary mortgage market. According to some very developed and high sophisticated financial system, secondary mortgage market fits very well in a financial housing technique. But you need at first a functioning, solid primary market, and that's very essential. What else do you need? You need responsibility. You need responsibility, and not only from the customer, who is, of course, responsible for his obligation in this credit contract. You need also responsible lending, and the responsible lending is on the side of the credit institutions. And for this, you need the professional skills should be improved. So the guys, the servants from the credit institution must be able to explain this product to the customer. And of course, maybe there must be much more training for the professionals than in our days, that they can explain this very well. The question is, what kind of registration should be behind this contract, this credit contract? In modern times, there is the opinion that a title insurance would fit very well in this surrounding. According to our experiences in Europe, I think that it's more efficient to have a modern land registry or a cadastre record, which is handled from the public or from the government, and the mortgage insurance or the title insurance is more or less handled by private intermediaries or companies. And we have a little bit problems, especially with the mortgage insurance in Europe right now, because one of these companies disappeared a few months ago. There's a PMI who closed their offices and disappeared back to the United States, so this was not so impressive, their appearance in Europe. So, and last, what we also need is, of course, affordability of a housing finance. And affordability comes with a topic which we haven't discussed, but I think which is worthwhile to discuss it, and that's subsidies. I think this topic, subsidies, is very important for this group of people, and we can arrange now a long debate. What is the best way of subsidize housing finance in this income groups? And there are two ways. The first way is to encourage people with a kind of bonus program to save money. So you subsidize the saving, and the other side is a kind of tax deduction. You subsidize the loan, the interest rate of the loan. So we haven't discussed this, but it's for a lot of economic reasons, pro and cons for both. But I think it's worthwhile to make another contribution, and you say the 15th of June would be the deadline to say also something about the subsidies, because subsidies are essential, because a subsidy is also a point which is of importance from the state budget. So, and not every country has a budget and they can spend a huge amount of money for subsidies, and so we have to discuss it very carefully, which kind of subsidy system fits best to the economic condition of a country. Thank you.